Hello, and welcome back to Fire Essence Gaming. My name is Ben, and today we'll continue on with Suzerain 2.0. So last time out, we dealt with a whole bunch of angry protesters outside the Gazon facility, as well as submitted our proposals for the constitutional reforms. So yeah, let's go ahead and pick it up here. See, I don't see any reports, but it looks like we've got 3 newspapers, so let's start out reading those. Alright, so from Swordsland today, Reign leading promised reforms. Our sources informed us that the plan is underway by the government to start drafting the reform package. Finally, we seem to have a president who pursues something significant in the early days of his term. President Reign is already proving that he's the right man for the job, as rumors circulate about successful talks about a future proposal in collaboration with important figures from the PFJP. This is seen as a significant development that shows that this administration is listening to the will of sort of citizens. We hope that, once constitutional changes are approved, it will be the start of a new era for our country towards a bright future. Cool. From The Economists, Unleashing Energy, an analysis of EPA's potential. Recent data-driven forecasts from our economic analysts indicate that repealing the Energy Protection Act could unlock a new era of robust growth in Swordsland. A thorough examination of market trends underscores the tremendous potential for economic expansion, should energy companies be granted unfettered access to the market. Furthermore, we propose an intriguing strategic move. The government should contemplate a co-investment venture with Rizia and Gazom. This initiative could potentially draw the attention of Rumberg, building upon the recent commitments made by Rizia. Economic implications of such a maneuver could be game-changing, underlining the need for a bold reevaluation of the EPA's constraints. I thought this already, failed it through assembly. I don't know, whatever. Alright, and preparations underway for the annual Benfi Festival. It's that time of year again. The largest cultural festival in the entirety of Swordsland, Benfi Festival, has begun its preparations. This year's venue is picked to be the newly built Benfi High Art Center with a total capacity of 8,000 people. For those who do not have tickets, can, as always, enjoy these events that span the whole city. Especially after recent events, we can't wait for 4 days of panels, theater plays, exhibitions, and music. Coolio. Alright. So, let's head to Whole Sword here. Oh, look at that. I lied. There's totally a report right here. It's the only one we have, though. And it is on the Reform Committee started preparations. Vice President Vectrin reported that, along with Lucian Claude, the committee has started working on the written aspects of the package as per the needs outlined previously. They will soon get the legal team involved to complete the writing process. The needed 150 signatures for proposals have started to be collected within the USB. Coolio. Alright. So, let's head to the Maroon Palace for a meeting on the Energy Protection Act of 1932. This is definitely new content. As the morning sun streamed through the window of the presidential office, an imminent meeting loomed on my agenda. In a quarter of an hour, I was set to discuss the Energy Protection Act of 1932 with Ministers Groff, Hull, and Vichy. The recent abrogation in the Grand National Assembly, coupled with ongoing dialogues with Gazom, had only served to amplify the discourse surrounding the legislation. I was sipping my morning coffee and enjoying a quiet moment of solitude when David arrived, characteristically early. Very good morning to you, Mr. President. I trust I'm not imposing by arriving ahead of schedule. Nah, not at all, David. On the contrary, we've now got an extra few minutes to strategize before the meeting. I'm relieved to hear that, Anton. I had to depart early for my appointments nowadays. The stairs cap have become more of a challenge than I'd like to admit. It's nothing to be ashamed of, David. Would you like some coffee or tea? I have already had my tea today, as per my doctor's advice. She suggests chamomile in the morning and sage tea in the evening for optimal health. Listening to the doctor does bring some comfort. Feels as though my throat has been refreshed thanks to her. His gaze drifted, looking on to something beyond the window. Locking onto something beyond the window. A colossal zeppelin traversed the sky above the Maroon District. For a fleeting moment, it blotted out the sun, before gently veering to the left, letting light flood the office once more. I still remember the first airships in Swordsland. We purchased them from Kenal after the war, during the birth of what Sol called the Second Republic. Our infrastructure lay in ruins. Those zeppelins offered a much-needed lifeline, a chance to traverse and rebuild. And then, thanks to our research council's diligent efforts, we started manufacturing our own at Galzord. Going with this one, because what the hell? Do you think we might have leaned too heavily on Zeppelins for our transportation needs? Perhaps we should invest more in rebuilding our roads and railways. That's like a no-brainer, what the hell? At the time, the destroyed roads, bridges, and all made air travel the most suitable option. But now I am glad the presidency is focusing on building up our infrastructure. I guess that makes sense, but that's still confusing as hell. How many poor people can afford to go on a Zeppelin? Just fix the bloody roads. Our reliance on others was temporary, a stepping stone towards self-sufficiency we achieved with the National Autarky Plan. Even though it had its downsides, I still consider it a success. A pause fell over the room. David's gaze landed on the portrait of Tarquin Sol hanging in the president's office. His eyes lingered on the stern face of the old leader. A sigh escaped his lips. Now, when I think of the EPA, my mind is carried back to the formative years of post-Civil War Holster in the 30s. The debates, the passion, the potential for transformation. It was a time of renewed optimism. It is our duty now to learn from the past and strive for a better future. What applied back then won't apply to now. Let's go with that one. I can see why the Energy Protection Act was so crucial at the time. We had to safeguard our energy sector from foreign interference, especially in the context of the post-Civil War economic situation. Yes, the EPA helped ensure that the sector remained under our control, limiting the extent of ownership of foreign powers such as Rumberg and Lesbia. Despite the controversies, it was crucial to our recovery and has helped us maintain our energy independence to this day. I didn't agree with all the measures enacted by the Technocratic Committee of that era, but some were undeniably effective. In the end, it took a collective effort to reassemble our nation's fragmented pieces. I'm sure you remember those dark days yourself. I know you're just a student at the junior university culture, when you see what true oppression was like. Those experiences have shaped me, and they continue to inform my decisions as president. And the minorities of this nation have suffered particularly. David turned towards the large framed portrait of his father, Arthur Sanakovici, hanging on the wall. Painted with rich, warm hues, captured the first president of Swordland in his prime. A spark of determination gleamed in his eyes, and his mouth was set in a gentle, firm smile, a reflection of his belief in a better future for our country. Your father's legacy still looms large. Has it influenced your own views? My father was a visionary, a man who sought to modernize Swordland into a secular democratic republic. I've always been guided by his principles. His ability to mobilize public support for revolutionary change has been a constant inspiration for me. He looked back at the portrait with a mix of pride and sadness. In a way, Tarquin Sol did carry on my father's legacy. Under his leadership, we transitioned from military government to civilian one and experienced our first multi-party elections. But over time, he drifted away from the ideals of reform and progress my father held so dear. His visionary zeal succumbed to the more pragmatic, more conservative, and sometimes even aggressive dictates of political survival. Honestly, we're just going to keep listening. I kept listening to him. Alfonso, for all his flaws, did seek to set the nation back on a path of progress, was focused on free market and economic liberalization. His EPA amendments, for example, were a severe departure from Sol's national autarky plan, but many praised the way that it opened the doors for unprecedented foreign investment in our energy economy. Okay, let's see. Come on. Let's go with this one. Do you think the EPA still holds relevance today, or should we consider a complete overhaul? Yeah, the EPA has roots in a different era. While some of its principles may still hold, we must not shy away from revising in light of our current needs and challenges. Just as the conversation hit a pause, the door swung open and the other ministers arrived. Simon Hole entered first with a confident stride. Good morning, Mr. President. David, I trust the discussion is progressing well? Lilias followed close behind. She walked in with an air of calm authority, her gaze sweeping across the room. Gentlemen, I hope I'm not interrupting anything crucial. Welcome everyone. It's great to see you all here. We have some important discussions on the agenda today, particularly concerning the Energy Protection Act. Indeed, it's a critical issue that we need to address. I look forward to hearing everyone's perspectives.
Today, we have the opportunity to shape the economic strategy of Sortland for decades to come. EPA has long stood as a key contention and debate point in the National Autarky Plan. This matter is a discussion of how Sortland sees itself and how we position ourselves in the world. Our nation has taken very different economic approaches in the last 4 decades. The President's decision to foster a planned economy provides us with significant insights into our policy direction. Should we decide to increase the EPA threshold to 49% or eliminate it entirely, it could spark an influx of foreign investment. Given our current economic predicament, this would be a significant boost. A planned economy does not necessarily mean restricting foreign investment. It's about judicious management and control, ensuring that our nation's interests are always at the forefront.
Let's go with that one. I don't want to support Lilius too much. Presents a compelling argument, Lilius. It's certainly an aspect we must consider going forward.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's crucial to consider all angles in matters as important as this. Mr. President, Lily, shall we return to the subject of the EPA? Our current version of the Energy Protection Act dates back to 1949. President Alfonso's amendment raised the cap on foreign investment source energy companies up to 20%. In my view, it's a necessary step to attract foreign investment and stimulate our economy. We must remember that Sortland is facing an economic crisis during the center, and these changes provide a lifeline for energy industries.
But did the increased foreign ownership actually lead to substantial economic growth? Well, the increase in foreign ownership alone didn't lead to a drastic update in economic growth. It did have a positive effect. It facilitated foreign investment and provided our industries with much needed capital. The effects of such policy changes often take time to fully manifest, but they lay the groundwork for future economic development.
The Assembly has spoken on this matter, and as it stands, the Energy Protection of 1932 will not be repealed. It's clear that our colleagues recognize the potential risks of exposing our energy sector to foreign ownership. While this doesn't end the debate, it does underline the importance of respecting our Assembly's decision.
The Assembly's decision has been made, but that doesn't mean we will stop advocating for what we believe is right for Sortland. I respect the decision of the Assembly, Delius. However, we must not allow a setback to deter us from exploring the best possible options for Sortland. The global landscape is ever evolving, and we must adapt accordingly.
Yeah, it's also important to remember that the Assembly's decision is not the final word, and there is room for further legislative efforts and executive initiatives. When it comes to the Energy Protection Act, I believe we should consider complete removal. If not, at the very least, we should increase the threshold to 49%. This would undoubtedly attract more foreign investment and strengthen energy institutions such as Gazprom and Source Petroleum. I'm sure you're right about that, but we have to remember that we're dealing with national security as well as economics. Reverting to the solar at a 10% limit or keeping it the law as it is would be a safer approach. We cannot risk our energy infrastructure falling into foreign hands, especially not Rumberg.
I see merit in both your arguments. Yes, we need to protect national security, but we also need to consider the economic implications. Perhaps a mixed approach would work best. What if we increase the limit to 49%, thereby attracting foreign investment while maintaining source control over critical energy sectors? Let's just start with this one. We might get the rest of those, I don't know. How would the Energy Protection Act changes impact corporations like Gazprom, which could sell to any entity under the revised laws?
I believe you already know the answer to this, Mr. President. Gazprom could fall into foreign control just like any other energy corporation.
On the other hand, foreign investment would result in increased resources flowing to Gazprom and its ilk.
And these resources could be channeled into further development of our energy sector. Yes, Gazprom could potentially sell to anyone, but wouldn't that be a testament to the strength and attractiveness of our energy sector on the global stage?
Cool, yep, we need to look at all of them. Alright, well, considering potential foreign buyers such as Kino, Rizia, Anarka, Rumberg, and Lesbia, what are the worst case scenarios if they gain control over hydroelectric, gas, and oil sectors?
Think about it, Mr. President. If any one of these countries, but especially Rumberg, gains control of the energy sector, they could cut off our power at any moment. We would also be forced to comply with any decision they made regarding prices or environmental measures.
There's no denying the potential risks of foreign buyers gaining control over critical sectors. If we increase the foreign ownership threshold to 49%, we can attract more investments while mitigating these risks.
While we may see enemies from Kino, Arisia, and Rocket Rumor and Gillespie as potential threats, it's also crucial to see them as potential partners. Scenarios Lily's mentioned are possible, of course, but think about the economic growth and international relations that could be fostered. Alright, well, Lilies, you mentioned national security risks. Could you elaborate further on that? The national security risks are significant. Foreign entities could use their stake in our energy sector as leverage in diplomatic and economic negotiations. National security risks are always a concern when discussing foreign ownership. That's why it's crucial to have thorough vetting and monitoring processes in place. And don't forget about the importance of economic security. In a globalized world, economic strength can be just as critical as military might. But yes, it's essential to maintain strict oversight and regulations to ensure national interests aren't compromised. How would changes to the Energy Protection Act affect energy prices within Swordland? Well, with the increased foreign investment, we could potentially see a decrease in energy prices. But we should also consider the potential impact on job security and national control of our energy sector. Changing the Economic Protection Act could lead to increased energy prices as foreign entities could manipulate the market. With increased competition and foreign investment, we can also see a decrease in energy prices. The more players in the market, the more competitive the prices will be. That's a good point, Simon. Alright, we can proceed. Simon settled this subject. Given the turbulent economic landscape, maintaining the status quo of the Energy Protection Act could offer stability. We are already open to foreign investment at 20% threshold. Changing this percentage may introduce unexpected challenges that could complicate foreign relations. I firmly believe in the sovereignty and strength of our nation. Returning the threshold to 10% as well as destroying the solar air could protect us from undue foreign influence and ensure that our energy sector remains in Swordlish hands. Yeah, but increasing foreign investment could significantly stimulate our economy. A careful increase to 49% could be a balanced compromise, signaling to the world Swordland is open for business while still retaining majority control of our assets. We must consider the far-reaching implications of our actions. Today's decision regarding the EPA will significantly impact Gazprom and other corporations in the future. Regarding Gazprom, our decision to invest alone certainly places us more control over the gas sector. This could be beneficial, but it has increased our financial burden significantly. We must review our fiscal policies. Okay, let's see. Let's go with that one. The future of our gas industry lies in our hands, not anyone else's. Our full investment in Gazprom is a testament to our resolve. Simon meticulously adjusted his glasses. Considering investing heavily in Gazprom, our decision about the EPA will greatly impact the attractiveness of the remaining shares of foreign investors. A reduction in the EPA could pave the way for potential profits from shares, whereas total remove may invite an unpredictable rush for the remaining 45. Our investment in Gazprom reinforces Swordland's sovereignty. However, altering the EPA may dilute that sovereignty. I caution this drastic change may leave us vulnerable to foreign influence. We must maintain control of our energy sector at all costs. By increasing the foreign ownership threshold to 49%, we're opening up more opportunities for foreign investment. This could improve the value of our own 30% stake in Gazprom. Raising the threshold to 49% could increase Gazprom's value, by extension the value of our 30% stake, but we don't want to lose control of the company. Our 49% threshold could increase the value of our stake without risking loss of control. Increasing the EPA to 49% opens up a new avenue of trade, but we have to ensure our national interests are not compromised. Okay. Let's go with that one. The EPA has been a safeguard for our national interests, but we must also be open to change. We need to carefully weigh the benefits and the drawbacks. I would say we've covered the implications for EPA decision fairly thoroughly, Mr. President. Our actions should be guided by the best interests of our nation. Mr. President, it's our first making decision. What will we do with EPA? I'm pretty sure increasing it's going to be the best option, because it should, well, hopefully at any rate help to increase our economy a little bit. And we're still declining, so we need to try to bump that up. So we're gonna increase the cap. We'll increase the foreign ownership threshold to 49%. This will increase foreign investment. A balanced approach will serve us well. This could help attract foreign investment. It's a substantial increase. I fear we're opening ourselves up too much.
The door to the room opened. Livia Suno carried a tray laden with an assortment of beverages. Way to show up at the end of the meeting, lady. She is a little clumsy. She maneuvered around the room, refilling cups and glasses of tea, coffee, and water.
Excuse me, gentlemen, madam. I've brought refreshments.
I appreciate it, Livia. Tea will be perfect now.
Very well, Miss President. Here's your tea.
As she finished serving the beverages, Livia retreated towards the door. She glanced around the room one last time before quietly backing out, being very, very suspicious the entire time. The meeting resumed, our conversation growing slightly louder over the clink of cups and glasses.
Well, we are here. Well, I will inform you all that I've been lending my expertise to Mr. Bennywell in relation to the Workers' Rights Bill. I believe it's crucial to ensure fair treatment to our workforce, and it's nearing presentation.
Collaboration with Mr. Bennywell is commendable. I hope it will bring about a positive change for our workforce.
Thank you, Mr. President. The bill aims to prioritize workers' well-being. It's a step towards a more humane economic system. I share your sentiments, Mr. President. However, we must be careful to avoid encouraging anti-business tendencies. I concur, Mr. President. Ensuring the rights of all workers is paramount, although we must be cautious of any hidden agendas. Anyway, I've been working on our upcoming term budget meeting and proposed for business taxation changes. Specifically, we're considering a range of 10% tax changes for small to medium enterprises and large corporations. This could be a significant move for our economic landscape.
Such a taxation approach could indeed invigorate our economy, but we must ensure it doesn't burden our SMEs unduly.
I appreciate your insight, Mr. President. Ensuring the survival growth of our SMEs is at the forefront of our considerations. Tax changes could indeed have a significant impact on our economy. We must consider the implications carefully. Private corporations have enjoyed significant benefits and loopholes for far too long. They should pay their fair share.
As ministers rose from their seats, late morning light spilled into the room through the ornate windows. It seemed to signal the conclusion of the meeting. We've made some important decisions today. Let's wrap up for now and reconvene later if needed.
Thank you for the discussion. I'll continue working on our priorities. Goodbye, everyone. See you at the term budget meeting. And until next time, dear colleagues, take care and see you soon.
Fantastic. Alright, so we've got a couple reports, got more newspapers. Let's check the news. Alright, whole store post. EPA increase, a risky endeavor. The decision to increase the Energy Protection Act threshold to 49% by President Anton Rain has been met with criticism. Critics argue that such a drastic shift could leave Sordland's strategic energy sector exposed to dangers of foreign influence, with potential detrimental effects on our national security and economy. While it's necessary to invite foreign investments, it's equally crucial to safeguard national interests. The decision-makers must tread this delicate balance with utmost care. Okay, let's see. And from Sordland today, opportunity for growth. In a surprising turn, the government's decision to raise the Energy Protection Act threshold to 49% has been hailed by some as an opportunity for growth. This move could stimulate foreign investment, potentially leading to a much-needed boost in our struggling energy sector. The change represents a significant shift in policy priorities, and it's yet to be seen whether it will bear fruit. Cool. From The Economist, EPA increased to 49%. Pathway to economic prosperity. The recent proposition to elevate the Energy Protection Act threshold to 49% merits substantial contemplation. This potential change doesn't just shift a number, it opens doors for Sordland's economy, paving the way for global collaboration and potential prosperity. While detractors may protest, economic data suggests that a higher foreign ownership limit can drive economic growth, innovation, and healthy competition, vital for the robust functioning of a free market economy. Cool beans. Alright, so we've got a couple of things going on here. So economic policy, saying that we bumped the EPA up to 49. Something in the codex here on miscellaneous history. Oh, okay, just a little bit about the Energy Protection Act. And update to say that we increased it again. Cool. Alright, let's check out these reports here. So, first up from Boren. Manager Manger's Gruny region tour. Minister of Rural Development Gus Manger is touring the Gruny region in Boren as part of his research for a new rural development plan. The tour includes several site visits and meetings with local officials and communities. This initiative indicates a proactive approach to rural development, with a specific focus on understanding ground realities. The outcomes of this tour will contribute to the vision of the new development plan. Cool, it better be good because I vetoed that other thing to give Gus a chance here. Alright, from Volgan. Volgan farmers seek support. In Volgan, local farmers are seeking support as the city's agricultural industry is falling behind. Farmers point out that lack of access to modern farming equipment and insufficient infrastructure are major hurdles. They believe that targeted support and investment could rejuvenate the agricultural sector and contribute to the region's economy. From Sarna, agricultural growth potential. Sarna is exhibiting strong potential for agricultural growth. The demand from neighboring Lesbia is increasing, suggesting an opportunity for expansion in the region's agricultural sector. The local farmers are optimistic about the future, but they also highlight the need for strategic investment and support to capitalize on its potential. From Morbel, untapped coal reserves. The Neta Mining Corporation has discovered new untapped coal reserves in Morbel. Morbel. The corporation suggests that investment in Lauren could significantly improve output, opening opportunities for economic growth in the region. The corporation is in the process of assessing the feasibility and potential of these reserves. Shouldn't y'all be more concerned about putting out the underground coal fire you started, like an episode or two ago? Whatever. From Urzarin, discovery of new Ism remains. Remains of former Black Battalion members have been discovered near the site of the Ism incident. The deceased have been identified as Sordish armed forces officers who were pardoned by President Sol's government or were deployed in border security at the time. Investigations are ongoing to determine the cause and circumstances of their deaths. The discovery has reignited interest in the Black Battalion's history, and authorities are urging anyone with information related to the case to come forward. Interesting. Okay. It's like some dudes who were involved in this incident may have been murdered. Interesting. Alright. Keep an eye on that when it comes back up. Well, looks like the end of that. So, let's head over to, what is this, Lockhaven. Ooh, for a nice fancy dinner with the Business Council. When we were in Lockhaven to work with the Business Council to assess weaknesses in the economy, Simon organized a dinner with the affluent economic figureheads of Swordland. When we arrived, the streets were bustling with activity, even though the atmosphere in the country was tense. Lockhaveners didn't seem very worried. Together with Walter Tusk, Edith Agnock, Mikhail Alvin, and Simon Hull, we entered the renowned Asteri restaurant by the coast. Short blonde man whose embroidered pocket red manager greeted us and waved his arms in excitement as he told us how pleased he was to have us in his establishment. Beaming with pride, he led us to a private room and got us seated at a large table, covered for the occasion with a maroon tablecloth. We are quickly served by a group of waiters. Walter spoke as they started taking our orders. I recommend the Lockhaven salmon present. You have to taste the Sokotoxi here, the best in Swordland. Nah, I'm going with the bean stew. I don't know why. I ordered traditional Sordish bean stew for this main course. The servers took their notes and asked about the second dish. We're just going to be super healthy. We get bean stew and salad. The servers placed glasses in front of each of us and served us bread and water. After they're done taking orders, they quickly left us alone in the private room. Mr. President, I didn't have the possibility to thank you for coming today. Your presence means a great deal. Indeed, sir. It's an honor to dine with you. It's great to be here with the members of the Business Council. We should thank Simon for organizing this meeting.
No need for that. I hope everybody enjoys the evening.
Simon gestured at the expensive-looking red wine bottle that one of the servers just brought to the table.
Mr. President?
Yes?
Do you want some, sir? It's Chateau de Filenco from 1934.
Sure. Let's try it. Simon poured some wine in my glass, waited for me to taste it before filling it up. I took a sip. It was bitter. Honestly, it tasted like any other wine.
How is it? Is it taste to your liking?
I mean, it's fine. It's wine. What? This wine doesn't even need testing.
Should I fill your glass, or do you want another drink, sir?
I mean, it's okay. I'll drink it. Simon filled up my glass. After filling everybody's glasses, Simon stood up and raised his glass.
I'd like to raise a toast to all of you here today. We're meeting here tonight in difficult times, but I believe that with hard work, cooperation, and trust, we'll get through this period as well. I'd like to thank Mr. Rain again for his decisiveness when it comes to economic policies. I'm sure we'll stop this recession. I also thank Mr. Tusk for being with us today. His presence is also an honor. And, of course, my colleagues from Business Council, Mrs. Agnock and Mr. Robin. Without you, none of these would have been possible. Let's drink to future cooperation and growth. For a prosperous Swordland. Everybody raised glasses and toasted each other. After a couple more minutes, servers arrived with their meals. The food tastes amazing. Walter was right, this place must be the best in all of Lockhaven. So, how did you find the food at the best fine dining restaurant in Lockhaven, Mr. President? Not a big fan of fancy food, but I must admit that it's very tasty. Except you got the least fancy food, but whatever. Seemed like the best answer there.
Says the man visiting one of the finest restaurants in Swordland.
Don't blame it on him. Mr. President didn't choose the place.
How things go in the Moon Palace? Pressure must be increased after you attended that funeral.
I mean, yeah, it did, but it was the right decision.
Of course, I didn't mean to criticize your decision.
As we conversed with Mikhail, I heard Walter raise his voice in an apparent argument with Edith and Simon. We both stopped to listen.
Cassian has the right way of doing business. Their approach to the world is real and raw. I prefer that cutthroat approach in comparison to the niceties.
Well, I mean, it's a nice country to visit too. I have traveled there often on business trips. Their attitude on all countries is nice to visit if you have the cash.
Exactly. How about the people who don't have extra cash to spend? What about disease? What about death? What about everything that's wrong with the world? These are matters beyond our lives. We should focus on the benefit of ourselves and show what we have instead of worrying about what others don't have. I mean, fuck the poor, am I right?
Truly an egotistical way to look at the world.
It's just facts. Life's short and there's only so much we can do. Why not focus all our energy on ourselves?
Oh, God. Walter's taking us down the rabbit hole again.
By the way, I saw the construction of the railway has already started. I have my concerns about the company, but I hope they do a great job. Whatever. That project will surely boost our economy if done correctly. The mood is already becoming positive. I have to congratulate Mr. Ray for starting such a massive project.
No need for that, Mr. Robin. The state is just doing its job.
Of course. This role also deserves credit, of course. Our great economy minister.
Is there a Chio coming?
Why? I thought you said you were great economy.
He laughed.
I heard you bought a new villa, Simon.
I don't comment on rumors, but I'll make an exception since we're among friends. It's true.
New villa's a bit much, especially in this economy when people are suffering. So what? My car collection is nearing the 40 mark. They're all old-timer models.
Yeah, I'll always advocate against ostentatious behavior. Money shouldn't be wasted for luxury.
Don't expect to become the rich to become modest in the near future. That'll be a pipe dream.
I don't like Walter. I'm going to keep just needling him. It's fine. The gap between the rich and poor is the root cause of this. Some of us are more sensible than others. Balance is possible. Edith, who's sitting to my left, gently put her hand over my arm for a few seconds. Come on, let's not talk about finance and politics for now. We came here to relax. She turned to Walter and Simon. Isn't it right, gentlemen? They nodded at her and took a sip from the drinks. She slightly leaned towards me. So, Mr. Raid, why don't you tell us what's behind that strong character of yours? I heard that you had a difficult life in deer, is that right? My family cared for me as much as they could. I couldn't ask for more than that. It's very humble of you. I never met your family, Mr. President. How are they doing, if you don't mind me asking? Yeah, I mean, they're doing great. We have no problems. That's great to hear. Your son must be very proud of you.
Family's everything. My advice would be to make sure that Frolic's solid relationship with you is your future, after all.
He's going through the teenager period. It's difficult to connect with him. He's a little shy.
I wish that was my son's biggest problem.
Dad seemed to be doing fine. I saw this yacht party in for me the local news.
Well, the rascal didn't even ask for permission to use the yacht and just took it. He basically stole it. Good news is that I finally convinced him to go to university. He'll study economics and Luckin Business School. That's a good choice. Have a degree in sort that separates you from the rabble. We especially need more people who understand economics. Maybe your son will have a great future, be a great future economist. Yeah, I wouldn't count on that. But I agree that we need more economists to enter politics. Unfortunately, Alfonso was the only leader who actually studied economics. He turned to me. Not that I mean anything against you, Mr. Rain. Now, Alfonso was an inspiration for all reformists. He was. He truly wanted to transform his country to a modern nation. His term was very difficult, though. He got destroyed. A correction. It wasn't his policies that destroyed him. It was the old guard. I always had a gut feeling about his sudden fall. He threatened their economic power base over the country through a vast privatization plan. They're moving him back to you after. Walter stopped with the conspiracy theories. I think we've had enough drinks. Everyone went quiet. After a long silence, followed by some chit-chat, Walter ordered a bottle of whiskey. That's one good-looking bottle. The waiters brought one of the finest Circassian whiskeys. It was time for a toast. I stood up to give a toast. I'm just going to keep needling Walter. Why not? To an equal society without class differences. Borgo Vescore. Aye. Nobody else responded. Simon looked like he had had a little too much alcohol. There was an awkward silence as they looked at each other, glasses in their hands. Affections to stop, I guess?
Yeah, I think it's time we call it a night.
Edith stood up. Most of us were a little tipsy at this point.
I want to thank you, Mr. President, for joining us, and you, Simon, for putting all this together.
Well, thank you, Edith, for joining a bunch of ugly rich men. That's definitely not me. Got the sweet slick back hair. The president of jokes. Thanks for being here. After bidding our farewells, we slowly walked out of the restaurant. The moon was shining bright as everyone except Walter left in their luxury cars. President, a moment alone, please. He called me inside the small VIP lounge. What do you want? Usually the Lilleberg spokesman doesn't direct the comment on administration, but I'd like to say a few things since this was a special evening. Yeah, alright, if you have to. Finally, a president listens to the people. It won't be easy to pass a new constitution to the Assembly and the Supreme Court. We could help you get it through if in return you help us with a few economic requests. Walter lit a cigar and took a few drags before continuing. Many in the group were disappointed in the economic direction he took by promoting an inefficient planned economy. Promises made during the election had to be upheld. Those main reasons behind the decision. Political motivations are admirable, but economics is about numbers and the current reality, not the past. He looked me in the eye. We had a deal about the first mega infrastructure projects. You broke that promise, didn't award the contract under construction. This actually led to a huge disappointment in the group. Yeah, well, the opinions of the beer group don't concern me. I'll make my own choices. They represent a large collective economic power. Cooperation would be helpful in solving the recession. Walter didn't look satisfied. Dissatisfaction of the Lilleberg group should concern you, Mr. President. It should concern you very much, especially after you took our contribution and didn't act on it. It's hard to argue against compromise. Alright, well, we'll play it safe at the moment. Maybe meeting in the middle is the solution. If the administration were to pass a private corporation tax cut and privatize both healthcare and education, it would do wonders in the attitude of Lilleberg towards the administration. Privatization can lead to many good things, President Rain. It's certainly an opportunity to raise further money inside the welfare branches. Tomorrow, the previous mishap will be cleared and confidence in the new administration from the business community will be restored. Oh boy, See, this is a tough one. I definitely don't want to promise them a tax cut, because they're probably not going to get that. But probably not, I mean, I'm almost certainly going to tax the large businesses higher. But I would like to try to arrest him again later, so maybe I can take a bribe? You know, I'm just gonna play it safe. fine, we're gonna go with that one. I'll make tax privatization decisions objectively. Can't promise you anything. Oh, let's not be hasty. The recessional land of Wildeburg is on your side, President. Why can't we all just be friends? Maybe. I'll see what I can do. Excellent. Glad to hear this. The group wants private corporation tax cut, privatization, healthcare, and education. Oh, in other words, I have to promise it to him now? Okay, well, then... Tough shit, bro. That's too much of an ask. On third thought, I have to reject. That's a shame. I did offer you a peace branch. There's an awkward silence. Either way, President, we are here and always ready to work with you if you change your mind. Don't forget that. I'll think about it, but not now. Walter left, Serge came pick me up. I entered the car and we drove to our residence in Lockhaven. Serge took the seaside route. Alright, fantastic. Well, that feels like as good a place as any to call for today. So, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you all next time.